Hello and welcome to English R&L, your daily space to grow, practice, and speak English with confidence. Today marks the first step in a new chapter of your English journey, a journey not only to learn a language, but to live it. You are here because you've already come far. You can understand, you can communicate, and yet something inside you whispers that there's more clarity, more confidence, more flow. That whisper is your invitation to fluency. Imagine English no longer as a subject you study, but as a world you inhabit. Imagine waking up and thinking in English, feeling comfortable in every conversation, hearing yourself speak with ease. That transformation starts here, in this space, with your attention, your voice, and your persistence. Fluency isn't a finish line, it's a lifestyle. Every sound you repeat, every thought you form in English is a small act of building. You're rewiring your brain, stretching your comfort zone, teaching your mouth and your mind to cooperate. And the moment you stop chasing perfection and start embracing practice, everything changes. Let's be honest, moving from B1 to C2 sounds huge, but remember, language mastery isn't measured in years. It's measured in moments of courage. Each time you speak, even when you're unsure, each time you listen, even when it's difficult, you're stepping closer to mastery. You're not just learning about English. You're learning to become English in the way you think, react, and connect. So take a deep breath. You're exactly where you need to be. The first truth you must absorb is this: fluency grows in small, consistent acts. Not in marathon study sessions, not in memorizing lists, but in daily contact, hearing, speaking, noticing. 5 mindful minutes can teach you more than 5 distracted hours. Every time you listen with curiosity, you're tuning your ear to the music of English. Every time you repeat aloud, you're training your muscles to move effortlessly through sound. And every time you dare to speak, even imperfectly, you're rewriting your identity as a confident communicator. Think of this process like learning to dance. At first, you count the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. You overthink every move. But with practice, the rhythm takes over. Your body remembers. You stop counting and start feeling. English works the same way. At B1, you still count steps. At C2, you feel the rhythm. Your goal in this masterclass is not to memorize, but to internalize. Not to imitate, but to embody. To get there, you need 3 daily commitments. Listen actively, speak bravely, and think intentionally. When you listen actively, you don't just hear words. You hear energy, tone, and emotion. When you speak bravely, you allow yourself to sound imperfect but real. And when you think intentionally, you begin to replace translation with pure English thought. Here's something powerful. Every single native-like phrase you've ever admired was once a piece of repetition in someone else's practice. Repetition doesn't make you robotic, it makes you automatic. So today, we'll begin rewiring that automatic system, your reflexes, your reactions, your confidence. Start by slowing down and notice sound connections. Say aloud, "What are you doing?" Now link the sounds. What are you doing? This connection between words is what gives English its rhythm. Native speakers link, reduce, and flow. Learners often separate and pause. Each time you shadow native audio, you borrow that flow until it becomes yours. Shadow this sentence 3 times now. Feel how your tongue moves differently. Hear the melody. This is training, real physical training. Fluency lives in the body as much as in the brain. As you practice, remember, perfection is not your goal. Connection is. The moment you focus on communicating meaning instead of avoiding mistakes, your speech starts to open up. If you forget a word, describe it. If you mispronounce it, laugh and keep going. If you feel nervous, speak anyway. Courage repeated becomes confidence. Confidence repeated becomes fluency. Let this be your mantra. I don't wait to be fluent to speak. I speak to become fluent. Hold that sentence close. Say it out loud. When you commit to speaking daily, even for a few minutes, you create momentum. That momentum builds belief, and belief is the invisible force that carries you from B1 to C2. Picture your progress like climbing a mountain. Each word, each phrase, each conversation is a step upward. Some days the air feels thin, the climb feels endless, but every step counts. Even the smallest step changes your perspective. You'll look back one day and realize that what you once felt impossible, holding a full conversation, understanding fast speech, expressing complex ideas, is now your reality. The key is patience. Fluency is not built in a burst of effort. It's carved by daily persistence. Your mission for today? Listen to 5 minutes of English audio you enjoy. A podcast, a YouTube clip, a short film. Write down one sentence that catches your attention. Repeat it aloud 10 times, copying rhythm and emotion. That simple ritual, done daily, rewires your ear, strengthens your pronunciation, and reminds you that progress is happening. Because fluency isn't about time. It's about contact. Every moment you spend inside the language moves you forward.
Every moment you spend inside the language moves you forward. You might not notice it day by day, but your brain does. It's constantly adjusting, building neural connections, turning passive knowledge into active fluency. That's why small, consistent practice wins over intense, irregular study. Think about how a baby learns its first language. No grammar books, no translation, just constant exposure, listening, mimicking, repeating, making sounds, failing, and trying again. You have that same power now, even as an adult. The difference is that you can guide your attention consciously. You can choose what to listen to, what to repeat, what to focus on. That choice gives you speed. Don't underestimate the power of deliberate listening. When you listen with intention, you start noticing patterns, how natives connect ideas, how they emphasize certain words, how emotion shapes tone. You begin to hear English, not just understand it. For example, listen to how emotion changes meaning. Really? With surprise. Really? With certainty. Really? With doubt. Same word, 3 feelings and 3 different messages. Fluency is not just vocabulary, it's emotional precision. When you can express how you feel as well as what you think, that's when English becomes your own. Let's talk about something crucial, the identity shift. At B1, English is something you do. At C2, English becomes who you are when you communicate. This doesn't mean you lose your identity. It means you gain another layer, an expanded self who can exist in more worlds, connect with more people, and think from different perspectives. To reach that level, you must stop separating yourself from your English. They are not two things. The moment you start believing that your English voice is you, your fluency will unlock. Start small. Introduce yourself in English, even to yourself. Say your thoughts out loud. I'm going to make some tea. I need to finish this report. I'm a little tired today. These micro moments build natural thought patterns. You stop translating, you start living in English. Another secret, don't fear silence. When you pause to think, that's not failure, that's fluency forming. Native speakers pause all the time. They, those pauses give space for clarity, so never apologize for thinking. The biggest mistake learners make is equating fast with fluent. But fluency is not speed, it's flow. You can be fluent and slow as long as your thoughts move clearly and naturally. Clarity always beats speed. Now, let's dive into the shadowing technique, one of the most powerful habits to accelerate your progress. Here's how it works. Choose a short audio clip, 10 to 30 seconds, play it and listen carefully once. Play it again and repeat at the same time as the speaker, not after. Focus on rhythm, intonation, and emotion, not just words. This method trains your brain and mouth to move together. It's active listening and speaking combined. Shadowing feels hard at first, like running behind a fast car. But after a few days, you'll notice something. Your pronunciation sharpens, your timing improves, and your ear becomes more sensitive. You'll start anticipating sounds instead of chasing them. That's the moment shadowing becomes magic. If you can, record yourself. Compare your version to the original. Notice differences in tone, stress, and smoothness, not to criticize, but to refine. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. Every time you practice shadowing, you're not just copying sound, you're absorbing rhythm. You're programming fluency into your nervous system. And remember, consistency beats intensity. 5 minutes of daily shadowing can do more for your speech than 1 hour once a week. Let's try an example. Listen and repeat. I didn't plan it, but it turned out even better than I expected. Now notice how the stress falls on plan, turned out, and expected. English rhythm breathes through stressed words. That's where the meaning lives. See it again with feeling. I didn't plan it, but it turned out even better than I expected. Feel how your mouth and breath move together? That's fluency growing inside you. Fluency is not built through knowing more words. It's built through using the words you already know, confidently, naturally, rhythmically. Let's talk about confidence, because no matter how many techniques you know, confidence is what sets fluent speakers apart. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to speak even when fear is present. Every fluent person you admire, every native speaker you listen to once hesitated, once doubted, once mispronounced, but they kept speaking. That's why they became fluent. Your English journey is not about being perfect. It's about being brave repeatedly. Here's a truth most learners never hear. Your accent is not your weakness. It's your signature. It tells your story. It shows your journey. It makes your English uniquely yours. Don't hide it. Shape it. Make it clear, but don't erase it. You're not supposed to sound like someone else. You're supposed to sound like you in English. Every day you speak, you become more you in another language. When you speak from the heart, people feel it. They don't care about your grammar. They care about your energy, your sincerity, your connection. So stop asking, is my English correct? Start asking, did I connect? That mindset shift turns learners into communicators, and communicators into fluent speakers. Let's pause for a moment. take a deep breath. You've been walking through a lot of ideas, and you've absorbed more than you realize. Now say this out loud with me. I'm not just learning English, I'm transforming how I express myself. Because that's the truth. Fluency is transformation, not just in language, but in identity, courage, and expression. Each lesson, each conversation, each reflection brings you closer to your authentic English voice, the one that feels natural, confident, and alive. From today, promise yourself this. You will listen daily. You will speak daily. You will forgive yourself quickly. Because the fastest way to fluency is not pressure, it's practice with patience. Keep walking. Keep speaking. Keep believing. Your English is already growing inside you, and one day soon, you'll realize you've crossed the invisible bridge from learning to living the language.
You are building a habit, and that habit is reshaping your mind. The moment English becomes part of your daily rhythm, everything changes. You no longer need motivation because it becomes natural, like brushing your teeth or checking your phone. It's just something you do, something that feels incomplete when you skip it. That's how true fluency begins, not with pressure, but with rhythm. Every time you listen, even passively, your brain records sounds. When you repeat, it strengthens the connection. When you speak, it activates the full circuit: listening, memory, articulation, emotion. These four work together like instruments in an orchestra. Fluency is the harmony between them. If one is missing, the music sounds broken. But when they align, when you listen carefully, remember naturally, speak confidently, and express emotionally, English flows through you effortlessly. That's why practice isn't punishment, it's performance. Every word you speak is a note, every sentence a melody. And when you practice daily, your voice learns the rhythm of English like a musician learns a song. But let's face it, there will be days when you don't feel like practicing. Days when your tongue feels heavy, your confidence low, your thoughts stuck. That's part of the journey. You're not failing, you're forming. The key is to show up anyway. Speak a little, listen a little, do something small. The smallest step keeps the door open. Even on your hardest days, remember this: your effort never disappears. Every sound you make, every phrase you repeat, stays inside you. The brain never unlearns practice. It stores it, waiting for the next spark to reactivate. Sometimes progress hides. You may feel stuck, but that's just your brain reorganizing knowledge, integrating patterns, building stronger pathways. It's the silence before the breakthrough. And when that breakthrough comes, you'll notice it in the smallest ways. Someone will speak faster than usual, and you'll understand them. You'll write a message, and it will sound natural. You'll answer without translating and realize, I just said that in English. That's fluency revealing itself, quietly, naturally. So never measure your progress by perfection. Measure it by presence, how often you show up, how often you try, how deeply you engage. Now let's talk about your voice, because your voice, not vocabulary, not grammar, is your real connection to people. When you speak English, do you whisper? Do you hesitate to be heard? Start lifting your voice. Speak with conviction even when uncertain. Confidence isn't loudness, it's clarity. Speak clearly, not necessarily loudly. People listen to voices that carry intention. Imagine this. You're talking to a friend about your day. You don't plan every word, you just speak because you trust your thoughts. That's how you should approach English. Stop rehearsing sentences in your head, just release them. The right words come from flow, not fear. Think of your voice like a bridge. Every word you say brings someone closer to your thoughts. Don't worry if the bridge isn't perfect. What matters is that it holds. Let's practice something powerful right now. Take a deep breath, then say this out loud, slowly, with meaning. I have something valuable to say. My English doesn't define my worth. Every day, I'm improving. Feel those words vibrate in your chest? That's confidence being built breath by breath. If you only remember one thing from today's session, let it be this. Fluency grows through emotion. When you speak about something you care about, your language flows more freely. That's why talking about your passions, your hobbies, your dreams, your opinions is one of the best ways to grow fast. Forget textbook dialogues like, "Where's the post office?" Talk about you. Talk about what matters. Say, "I love the feeling of walking early in the morning. Music helps me think clearly. Sometimes I doubt myself, but I keep trying." These sentences are real. They connect to your emotions, and emotion is memory's anchor. You'll remember what you feel. Here's another secret. When you make English emotional, it sticks. So when you practice speaking, always attach feeling. Don't just repeat, "I'm happy." Say it like you mean it. "I'm happy." Smile when you say it. Let your body feel it. You'll notice the sound changes when your emotion changes. That's authentic pronunciation. Let's do it the other way. "I'm tired." Let your shoulders drop. Feel the difference? Language and body are one system. When you move, breathe, and express, English becomes alive in you. This is why many advanced learners get stuck. They study words but ignore the physical and emotional rhythm of speech. But not you. You're learning to feel English, not just study it. You're learning to live it. And this is where the shift from B1 to C2 truly happens, not just in vocabulary size, but in depth of expression. At B1, you speak to communicate. At C1, you speak to express ideas. At C2, you speak to move people. Fluency at the highest level is emotional precision, the ability to say exactly what you mean in a way that touches the listener. That's why today's exercise is about connection. Find one English song, one short podcast, or one video that makes you feel something. Don't analyze it, just listen. Notice how the voice, tone, and emotion make meaning. Then repeat what you hear, not word by word, but feeling by feeling. When you align your emotion with the speaker's emotion, your pronunciation becomes alive, your intonation becomes natural, and your confidence multiplies. Remember, language is sound, but communication is energy. When you connect your energy to your words, that's when English becomes art. So as we close this part of your journey, let's summarize your mission. Speak a little every day, no matter what. Listen deeply, not just for meaning, but for rhythm and feeling. Embrace mistakes as milestones. Record your progress, not for judgment, but for celebration. Let your voice be heard, because your voice, your English voice, is already powerful. It just needs space to grow. You've already started that growth today. And from this moment forward, every sound, every sentence, every spark of courage adds to your story. You are not just learning English, you are becoming fluent in expressing yourself. And that is the most beautiful form of fluency there is. Every time you open your mouth to speak English, you are not just forming sentences, you are building freedom. The freedom to connect, to express, to belong anywhere in the world. That's what true fluency gives you. It's not about passing exams or memorizing idioms. It's about unlocking doors you didn't even know existed. So let's talk about this idea, freedom through expression.
When you think about your native language, you don't think how to say something, you just say it. But in English, maybe you hesitate, you translate, you worry if it's correct. That's the moment your freedom is trapped by fear. To go from B1 to C2, you must break that cage. You must move from translation to transformation. Every time you try to say something in English and you hesitate, that's your mind trying to control. Let it go. The more you control, the less natural it becomes. Instead, trust your instincts. Here's a truth. Your brain already knows how to form sentences naturally. It just needs practice to access that pathway automatically. The key is exposure plus repetition plus emotion. Exposure gives you input, the sounds, patterns, and ideas of English. Repetition builds muscle memory. Your mouth, tongue, and brain begin to sync. Emotion locks it into long-term memory. That's why you remember movie scenes or songs much better than textbook dialogues, because they make you feel. So if you want to grow fast, don't study only. Experience English. Watch scenes that move you. Repeat lines that inspire you. Talk about things that matter. Make English a living part of your day, not just a subject, but a space where you exist. Let's imagine something. You wake up, stretch, and before checking your phone, you say one sentence in English. Today is a new chance to grow. Simple, real, powerful. You're already setting your brain into English mode before anything else. That single sentence tells your brain, this is who I am. I think in English. Throughout your day, whenever you can, add more micro thoughts. I'm feeling a little tired. I like the smell of coffee. The sky looks calm today. Each small moment rewires your mind. You stop translating, you start thinking directly in English. And that's one of the most powerful transitions between B1 and C1, from translation-based understanding to direct, spontaneous thought. Now, let's address something that stops many learners: perfectionism. You might think, I'll speak when my grammar improves, or I'll start when I know more words. But that's like saying, I'll start swimming when I already can swim. You don't wait for confidence to speak. You speak to build confidence. Every sentence, every mistake, every attempt is a brick in the foundation of your fluency. Let me tell you something honest. Native speakers don't speak perfectly. They make grammar mistakes every day. They forget words, they restart sentences, but they keep talking. The difference isn't knowledge, it's comfort with imperfection. When you become comfortable being imperfect, you become unstoppable. So next time you speak and forget a word, don't freeze. Describe it. Can't remember umbrella? Say, that thing you use when it rains. Can't remember appointment? Say, the time I have to meet someone. Congratulations, that's C1 skill right there. Communication beyond vocabulary. At C2, the mastery is not in knowing every word, but in never getting stuck when one disappears. Now let's talk about something deeper, your inner voice. The way you talk to yourself shapes your progress. If your inner voice says, I'm not good enough, or I can't speak like them, you are training your brain to believe that. But you can retrain it. You can reprogram your English mindset. Every time you notice a negative thought, replace it immediately with something empowering. Instead of, my English is bad, say, my English is growing. Instead of, I always make mistakes, say, every mistake helps me learn.
Instead of, they speak better than me, say, I'm on my own path and I'm improving.
This is not empty motivation. It's neuroscience. Your brain listens to what you repeat. If you repeat fear, it grows. If you repeat courage, it grows stronger. So speak kindly to yourself. Be your own teacher, your own encourager. Let's do a small exercise right now. Close your eyes for a few seconds. Take a slow breath in. Feel your lungs expand. Now exhale. Say quietly, I am enough. I am improving. I am capable of fluency. Say it again, louder this time. Believe it. I am enough. I am improving. I am capable of fluency. Your voice has power, not just to communicate with others, but to transform yourself. Now, let's go deeper into pronunciation and rhythm, two of the most important bridges between B2 and C2. Pronunciation isn't about sounding American or British, it's about clarity and confidence. The goal isn't imitation, it's communication. When you pronounce clearly, people don't need to guess what you mean. That gives you power and ease. The best way to train pronunciation? Mirror practice. Find short clips of native speakers and imitate not just their words, but their emotion, mouth movement, and rhythm. When they smile, you smile. When they pause, you pause. When they emphasize, you emphasize. At first, it feels strange, but then you'll notice your mouth adapting. Your tongue and jaw begin to move naturally in the patterns of English. Remember, pronunciation is physical. You can't learn it only with your mind. You must use your muscles, your lips, tongue, jaw, and breath. Try this with me. Say slowly, the world is full of words. Notice how world and words share similar sounds but need your tongue to touch slightly differently. This small awareness builds precision, and precision builds fluency. Another way to improve rhythm: listen to how English breathes. English is a stress-timed language. That means some words are strong, stressed, and others are soft, unstressed. For example, I want to go to the store. Feel the beat. Want, go, store. Those are your rhythm anchors. Everything else flows between them. That's why music, especially rap or spoken word poetry, is amazing for fluency. It trains your ear for the natural rhythm of speech. Try repeating lines from a song or short monologue. Don't focus on meaning, focus on flow. Your goal is not to say words. Your goal is to ride the rhythm of English. Once you can feel that rhythm, you'll speak with natural ease even if your grammar isn't perfect. Because people don't remember perfect grammar. They remember voices that flow. Now, one last truth for this moment. You are already more fluent than you think. You've been understanding, reflecting,
imagining and thinking in English for quite some time now, right here, right now. Fluency is not a future goal. It's something you build every time you show up like this. So take a breath, smile. You are already walking the path from B1 to C2, not by studying harder, but by feeling deeper, expressing braver, and living English one heartbeat at a time. And that is where true mastery begins.
There's something magical that happens when you stop chasing perfection and start chasing connection. Suddenly, English stops being a subject and becomes an experience. You start listening differently. You start speaking differently. You start feeling differently. This is the shift that happens between intermediate and advanced fluency. You move from focusing on what you say to focusing on how it feels when you say it. Think about it. When you watch native speakers talk, they don't just use words, they use energy, expression, rhythm. The meaning lives not only in vocabulary, but in the music of their voice. When you learn to hear that music and then reproduce it, your English becomes alive. Try this. Say the same sentence in two ways. 1, I don't know. Flat, emotionless. 2, I don't know. With emotion, with melody. The second one carries life, presence, curiosity. That's the secret most grammar books never teach. English isn't only about words, it's about feeling tone. Once you tune into that, your communication transforms. People don't just understand you, they feel you. Let's dive deeper into listening, because listening is the root of all fluency. Most learners listen to understand words, but fluent speakers listen to feel meaning. There's a difference. When you listen only for words, you miss rhythm, you miss emotion, you miss connection. But when you listen for energy, everything changes. For example, when someone says, that's fine, it could mean, that's fine, really fine. That's fine. I'm not happy, but I'll accept it. That's fine. Irritated. See how tone changes meaning completely? Listening is not just hearing, it's decoding emotion. It's sensing intention. That's why you should listen with both your ears and your heart. Here's a simple but powerful practice. Whenever you listen to English, a podcast, a movie, a friend, don't just ask, what are they saying? Ask, how are they saying it? Notice their pauses, their intonation, their speed. Notice when they emphasize a word, when they whisper, when they laugh. That's real listening. That's active listening. And that's what takes you from B2 to C1 and beyond. The next time you watch a movie or series, try this. Choose one short dialogue, maybe 10 to 15 seconds. Play it once for meaning. Then play it again and focus on rhythm. Then again for emotion. Finally, shadow it. Repeat together with the speaker. When you do this, you're not just training your ear. You're training your mouth, your breath, your timing. You are literally internalizing fluency. And slowly, your mind begins to predict what comes next. You no longer chase English. English starts to flow through you. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful yet overlooked tools, self-dialogue. If you ever feel like you don't have anyone to practice with, good news, you always have yourself. Talking to yourself in English is not strange, it's smart. It's how you practice real thinking, real speaking, real improvisation. You can do it anywhere, while walking, cooking, cleaning, driving, even in the shower. Start simple. Describe what you're doing. I'm making breakfast. I think I'll have eggs and coffee today. Then add thoughts. I should finish that report later. Maybe I'll call my friend after work. And later, add imagination. If I lived in another country, what would my morning look like?
This technique is gold because it teaches your brain to think directly in English. At first, your sentences might be simple, but as you do it daily, you'll notice your brain producing longer, smoother phrases. And here's a secret. When you talk to yourself out loud, your confidence grows silently. You start getting used to your English voice. You stop fearing how you sound. You begin to own it. Remember, no one judges you when you practice alone. It's your safe space to explore your voice, your pronunciation, your rhythm. That's what fluent people do unconsciously. They think, react, and talk internally in English all the time. You're training your inner fluency, the fluency of thought, because fluency begins in silence, not in speech. Before a native speaker says anything, their brain is already forming ideas in English. You're training to do the same. Now let's move to vocabulary, because vocabulary is where most learners get lost. You don't need more words, you need usable words. Fluent speakers don't know every word in the dictionary, they just use the ones they know effectively. So instead of memorizing long word lists, focus on word families and context. For example, take the word decide. You can learn it with its family: decision, noun; decisive, adjective; indecisive, opposite adjective; make a decision, common phrase. Now you can use the same idea in many ways. I decided to go. It was a difficult decision. She's very decisive. He's too indecisive sometimes. See how one root word gives you many tools? That's how fluent speakers grow, deep, not wide. Depth gives flexibility. So when you learn a new word, don't just translate it. Build a family around it. Create sentences. Use it in real life. You could even make a word journal. Each page, one root word with examples, idioms, and your own sentences. The goal is not memory, but ownership. Because when you use a word in your life, you own it. Let's talk about idioms next. They're like the colors of English. Idioms give your speech flavor and personality. For example, break the ice, to start a conversation. Hit the books, study hard. Once in a blue moon means rarely. These make you sound natural and expressive, not robotic. But don't force them. Let them come naturally through exposure. The more you listen, the more your brain picks them up automatically. When you hear a native say, "It's raining cats and dogs," don't try to analyze it. Feel it. Imagine heavy rain. Smile at the creativity of the language. English is alive, playful, flexible, and when you play with it, it starts playing with you. The secret of going from B1 to C2 is not studying harder, it's studying smarter, not memorizing more, but using better. And the smartest learners don't chase fluency, they live fluency. They listen while walking, they speak while thinking. They write messages, notes, thoughts, all in English. They let English become the language of their inner world. That's how transformation happens quietly, naturally, beautifully. Because fluency isn't a destination, it's a daily relationship with the language. When you love English, English loves you back. When you begin to live in English, not just learn it, everything starts to change. You no longer treat English as a foreign guest that visits your mind once in a while. It becomes part of your world, part of your thoughts, part of you. And this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens quietly, slowly, like sunrise after a long night. You wake up one day and realize you just understood a whole podcast without translating. You just expressed an emotion naturally without searching for words. You just laughed at a joke in English, and it felt real. That's fluency. Not perfection, but freedom. Freedom to express, freedom to connect, freedom to be yourself in another language. Let's talk about connection. Because the higher you go in English, the more it becomes about emotional intelligence, not vocabulary. Native speakers don't impress people with complicated words. They connect with tone, empathy, humor, and authenticity. To move from B2 to C1, learn to listen with empathy. When someone speaks, don't just focus on understanding the words, focus on understanding the person. Ask questions like, how did that make you feel? What was the hardest part? That must have been exciting, right? These simple human questions make your English conversations warm and real. You're not just practicing grammar, you're practicing connection. Because at C1 and C2, communication is not about correctness. It's about clarity and emotion. Think about the best speakers you've heard, maybe TED speakers or your favorite podcast hosts. They don't sound like grammar textbooks. They sound alive. They pause, they breathe, they laugh, they emphasize. They make English dance. And you can too, once you stop trying to sound perfect and start trying to sound human. Let's go deeper into pronunciation and rhythm. Pronunciation is not about copying accents perfectly. It's about clarity, flow, and emotion. If your accent is clear, confident, and natural to your mouth, it's beautiful. Don't kill your natural rhythm trying to sound like someone else. Instead, focus on these 3 keys. 1. Intonation, the rise and fall of your voice. 2. Stress, which words you emphasize. And 3. Connected speech, how words blend naturally. Here's a simple example. What do you want to do? A beginner says, what do you want to do? But a fluent speaker says, what do you want to do? It's faster, smoother, connected, like music. You don't have to imitate every detail, but learn to hear the flow. That's what gives your English life. Here's a beautiful truth. Pronunciation improves through listening, not repeating. You must first hear before you can speak. So spend time every day listening to natural English, podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube conversations. Even 10 minutes daily can change your rhythm forever. Listen not as a student, but as a musician. Notice patterns, melody, and emotion. Then shadow them not word by word, but breath by breath. Shadowing is not mimicry, it's synchrony. It's about aligning your rhythm, breath, and confidence with the language. Do it every day, and you'll notice that English starts to live inside your voice. And now, let's talk about one of the most underestimated aspects of fluency: emotional safety. Many learners are stuck at B1 or B2 not because of vocabulary, but because of fear. Fear of mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. If that's you, I understand. But here's something I want you to remember. Mistakes are not proof that you're bad at English. They're proof that you're learning. Every time you make a mistake, you're discovering a new boundary. You're mapping your limits, and every boundary you cross makes you stronger. Native speakers make mistakes all of the time. They just don't judge themselves for it. So the next time you say something wrong, smile and correct it naturally. Oh, wait, I meant to say. That's what fluent people do. They don't panic, they adjust. Fluency is not about never falling. It's about falling gracefully and standing up instantly. And the more comfortable you become with mistakes, the faster your progress will explode. Because your brain learns best when it's relaxed. Confidence opens the door that perfectionism locks. So give yourself permission to be imperfect, and you'll be unstoppable. Now, let's look at how to turn your daily life into your English classroom. Think in English while doing daily tasks. When you're brushing your teeth, think, I should leave in 10 minutes. When you're cooking, think, I need a bit more salt. When you're walking, think, it's such a beautiful morning. This rewires your brain to function in English naturally without effort. Talk to yourself in English. Say out loud what you're thinking. Describe what's happening. Ask yourself questions. Should I wear this or that? I'm not sure if it's going to rain. Wow, that coffee smells amazing. Your brain loves active repetition. Talking to yourself builds fluency from the inside out. Write a daily English journal. Just 5 sentences about your day. Focus on expressing feelings, not perfection. Today was a little stressful, but I managed to finish my work. I felt proud when I helped my friend. Writing daily strengthens memory, vocabulary, and confidence all at once. Listen every day. Even if it's just one podcast or 10 minutes of YouTube, consistency matters more than time. Because your brain learns through patterns. The more often it hears natural English, the faster it adapts. Try to make English the background music of your life. Turn your environment into an English world. Your phone, YouTube feed, playlists, even the voice in your head. You're building a world where English is not foreign, it's home. And that's when real fluency starts. At C1 and C2, English is no longer about learning, it's about living through the language. Reading news, expressing opinions, sharing emotions, all in English. That's why mindset is everything. You must start seeing yourself not as a learner, but as a communicator. Because language is not about knowledge, it's about connection. When you use English to connect, you start to own it. Speak to share, not to impress. Listen to understand, not to translate. Learn to express, not to perform. This mindset shift is what separates fluent speakers from eternal learners. Remember, English fluency is not measured by test scores, but by freedom. Freedom to express ideas, freedom to connect with others, freedom to live confidently in a second language. So, from this moment, stop saying, I'm learning English. Start saying, I'm living in English. Because you are. Every time you listen, speak, write, think, you're building your new identity as a bilingual communicator. That's power. That's transformation. That's fluency. And as you keep going, remember, progress is invisible until it's undeniable. You may not notice it day by day, but one day you'll realize you've become the person you once dreamed of, confident, expressive, fluent. You'll listen and understand effortlessly. You'll speak and feel alive. You'll connect and inspire others. That's your future, and it's closer than you think. So keep going, keep speaking, keep believing. Because every word you say brings you closer to fluency, and every step you take makes you unstoppable. You see, fluency isn't just about mastering English, it's about mastering yourself. The deeper you go, the more you realize that learning a language is not only about words and grammar, but about mindset, courage, and self-expression. When you speak in English, you're not only sharing thoughts, you're showing the world who you are through another lens. And that takes bravery.
It takes courage to sound different. It takes humility to make mistakes. It takes strength to keep speaking when no one else believes in you. But that's what makes fluency beautiful. It's not given, it's earned. Every word you speak, every sentence you try, every mistake you make, they all become part of your journey. And somewhere along that road, English stops being a skill and becomes a second soul. Because when you start thinking, dreaming, laughing, crying in English, that's when you've reached something greater than C2. You've reached connection. But let's be honest, this journey can be lonely sometimes. You might feel like no one understands how hard you're trying. You might feel tired, repeating the same words, listening again and again. You might wonder, will I ever be fluent? And I'm here to tell you, yes, you will. Fluency doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most consistent. To the one who shows up every day, even when it's hard. To the one who keeps listening, keeps speaking, keeps growing. To you. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to keep doing it. Fluency is built in small, invisible steps. Every podcast you listen to, every note you take, every minute you speak out loud, they all add up. It's like drops of water. Alone, they seem small, but together they become an ocean. And one day, you'll look back and realize that ocean lives inside you. You'll remember when English used to scare you, and you'll smile because now it feels like home. You'll remember when you had to translate every thought, and you'll laugh because now your thoughts come naturally. That's the reward of consistency. Transformation so deep, it becomes effortless. Let's take a moment to talk about the difference between knowing English and owning English. You know English when you can understand it. You own English when you can live it. Owning English means you don't wait for the right moment to speak. You create it. You don't wait for the perfect word. You express with the words you have. You don't fear mistakes. You use them as stepping stones. Because the real power of fluency is not in how many words you know, but in how confidently you use the ones you already have. Confidence is your secret weapon. And confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from trusting yourself even when you don't. Every time you open your mouth and speak English, you are practicing courage. Every time you listen with intention, you are training focus. Every time you continue despite doubt, you are building fluency. So don't measure your progress only by what you can say. Measure it by what you can face. Can you face fear? Can you face silence? Can you face mistakes with a smile? If yes, congratulations. You are already fluent in something much more powerful than English, growth. Now let's talk about the final bridge, from advanced to mastery. When you reach B2 or C1, you already have the structure. You can understand, express, and communicate easily. But C2, mastery, is a different level. C2 is about style, nuance, and depth. At C2, your English reflects your personality. You can play with tone, humor, rhythm. You can switch between formal and informal easily. You can persuade, inspire, comfort, and create connection, not just with words, but with presence. To reach that, you must live English emotionally, not just intellectually. Read poetry, not just textbooks. Watch films for emotion, not for subtitles. Listen to real stories, not just grammar lessons. Because emotion is the bridge to mastery. When you feel English, you begin to own it completely. Try this. The next time you hear a sentence, don't just repeat it. Feel it. Ask yourself what emotion is behind this line. Joy, anger, love, sarcasm? Let your voice mirror that. That's what native speakers do without realizing. They embody the emotion of their words. And when you learn to do that, people will stop hearing your accent. They'll start hearing your soul. That's true fluency. And remember this, your accent is not a weakness. It's your signature. It tells a story of courage, effort, and identity.
Fluency, my friend, is not about how many words you know, it's about how free you feel when you use them. You see, many learners believe that to speak like a native, they need to sound perfect. But perfection is a trap. It makes you silent. It keeps you from growing. What you really need is freedom. Freedom to make mistakes. Freedom to experiment. Freedom to sound like you. When you stop worrying about perfection, you start learning faster because your energy shifts from fear to curiosity. Fear freezes you. Curiosity frees you. So instead of asking, is this correct? Start asking, does this express what I mean? That's the mindset of a fluent communicator. Because English is not about correctness. It's about connection. Not about memorizing, but expressing. Not about showing off, but sharing. When you speak from that space, something amazing happens. People feel you. They don't just hear your words, they sense your energy. They connect to your sincerity. They respond not to your grammar, but to your humanity. And that's what makes you unforgettable. Think of all the people who've inspired you. Teachers, speakers, friends, creators. Do you remember every word they said? No. You remember how they made you feel. That's the secret of great communication. Emotion first, language second. So when you speak English, speak with emotion. Don't be afraid to sound excited, passionate, surprised, or even vulnerable. That's what makes you alive. Too many learners hide behind neutral tones, afraid to sound too emotional. But the truth is, emotion is the heart of English fluency. Listen to native speakers. They exaggerate, they emphasize, they stretch words, they play with sounds. That's not childish, that's natural. So practice expressing emotions in English. Say wow with real surprise. Say that's amazing with genuine joy. Say oh no with real sympathy. Let English become a language of feeling, not just speaking. Because the more you feel it, the more natural it becomes. Now, let's talk about another level of fluency, listening to silence. Yes, silence. Silence in English is not emptiness, it's space. In every great conversation, there are pauses, moments when nothing is said, but everything is understood. Native speakers use silence to breathe, to emphasize, to connect. When you learn to be comfortable with silence, you become powerful. You stop rushing your words. You stop forcing speed. You start flowing. That's real confidence, the confidence to pause. Because silence is part of speech too. It gives rhythm, emotion, and weight to your words. Try it. Instead of rushing your sentences, breathe between ideas. Instead of filling every second with a or allow space. You'll sound calmer, clearer, and more natural. Now, let's talk about the rhythm of English, the heartbeat of fluency. Every language has a rhythm.
English's rhythm is built on stress and melody. Some words are strong, others are soft. Some syllables rise, others fall. When you master rhythm, your English flows like music. Let's try a simple example. Say this sentence out loud. I'd like a cup of coffee. Notice how the rhythm goes up and down? I'd like a cup of coffee. It's not monotone, it's musical. That's why English sounds smooth when spoken naturally, because of the rise and fall, the push and pull. If you want to sound fluent, don't just copy pronunciation, copy rhythm. Listen to songs, speeches, or films. Tap your hand to the beat of the language. Feel its pulse. When you speak, let your words dance to that rhythm. Your brain will start syncing with English naturally, and your speech will sound effortless. Now let's move to something deeper. Thinking like a native speaker. Thinking in English doesn't mean translating word for word. It means building your ideas directly in English. It's not about speed, it's about mindset. Native speakers don't think, how do I say this? They think, what do I want to express? They think in images, emotions, connections. You can train this ability by describing what you see, what you feel, what you imagine, all in English, without translating. For example, the light through the window looks soft today. This song makes me feel calm. I wonder what that person is thinking. These are simple, natural thoughts, but they're powerful because they're real. Thinking in English transforms your brain. It stops relying on your first language and begins building direct English pathways. And once that happens, speaking becomes easy because your thoughts are already in English before your mouth even moves. This is how you reach C2, not through memorization, but through immersion. Every thought, every moment, every feeling becomes a chance to think in English. It's not about studying English anymore. It's about living in English. You live it when you describe your day. You live it when you feel emotions in English. You live it when you dream in English.
That's when English stops being a subject and becomes your second home. And in that home, you can be yourself, fully, freely, fluently. You can share your ideas, your humor, your kindness, not limited by translation, not trapped by fear. Because English is not just a tool, it's a bridge to the world. Through it, you can connect with people from every continent. You can learn from stories, cultures, perspectives you never knew existed. You can open doors to opportunities that once felt unreachable. That's what fluency gives you. Not just language, but freedom. Freedom to travel without fear, freedom to make friends from anywhere, freedom to express who you truly are. And that freedom begins with your decision to keep going, no matter how slow it feels. Because fluency is not a race, it's a rhythm. Every step counts, every word matters, every practice session shapes you. So don't underestimate your small moments. They are building your future voice. Maybe today you listened to one podcast. Maybe you spoke one sentence aloud. Maybe you learned one new word. That's enough. Because consistency beats intensity. One step every day beats 10 steps once a month. Fluency is built quietly, patiently, through moments of practice that no one sees, but you feel. And one day, those invisible moments will turn into a visible transformation. You'll open your mouth and English will simply flow. Not because you memorized, but because you lived it. That's what English R&L is here for, to remind you that fluency isn't about pressure, but progress. Not about perfection, but passion. So, wherever you are right now, take a deep breath. You're not just learning English, you're expanding who you are. You're opening your mind, your voice, your heart. You are evolving. And every sound, every sentence, every story you practice, it's leading you toward your most fluent, confident self. Keep going. Keep believing, because your English voice is waiting, not in some faraway future, but right here, growing stronger with every word you speak. And one day soon, you'll listen back to this moment and realize you didn't just learn English, you became English. You're still here. That means you care. You're committed. And that alone already separates you from the majority of English learners who stop halfway, who wait for the perfect time, the perfect motivation, the perfect teacher. But you've kept going. You've been listening, reflecting, and practicing. That's what mastery looks like. Not perfection, persistence. Every minute you've spent listening to this, every sentence you've repeated, every idea you've imagined in English, all of it is part of your growth. And today, we're going to take this even deeper. Because fluency isn't about knowing more words. It's about becoming more you in English. The closer your English feels to who you really are, the more fluent you become. Let's talk about expression. Real fluency is emotional fluency, your ability to express what you truly feel. When you can say, I'm so proud of myself, and actually mean it, when you can say, that hurt, or that made me laugh so much, naturally, that's when English stops being a school subject and becomes your voice. And how do you get there? You start by allowing yourself to feel in English. Not just think, not just translate, but feel. When you say, I'm happy, pause and actually feel that happiness in your body. When you say, I'm tired, let your voice reflect that tiredness. When you say, I'm excited, smile, breathe, and let that energy flow into your tone. That's what native speakers do unconsciously. And that's what you can do too, consciously, until it becomes natural. You see, language isn't just sound and grammar, it's rhythm, tone, emotion, and energy. Imagine you're talking to a friend. You don't think about grammar rules, you think about connection. You focus on sharing a feeling. That's why when you practice English, don't only read sentences, live them. Read them with feeling, exaggerate, act them out. If you say, that's amazing, make it sound amazing. If you say, I can't believe it, sound surprised. Acting is learning. Emotion gives memory strength. You remember better when you feel. Here's something powerful you can try right after this. Record yourself speaking about your day, not just describing it, but feeling it. Today was great. I woke up early, I went for a walk, the air was fresh, I felt alive. Or today was hard. I felt stressed, I didn't have much energy, but I showed up anyway. These are not just sentences, they are reflections of life. Every time you describe your day, your thoughts, your emotions in English, you're wiring your brain for expression, not translation. Now let's talk about rhythm. Every language has its own heartbeat. English is no different. It moves in beats, strong and weak, long and short. Listen carefully to native speakers. Notice how their sentences rise and fall. I didn't say you stole the money. The meaning changes depending on which word you stress. Try it. I didn't say you stole the money. Someone else did. I didn't say you stole the money. I just implied it. I didn't say you stole the money. Maybe someone else did. See? The same words, different emotion, different message. That's the magic of rhythm and stress. And mastering this will make your English sound 10 times more natural. Fluency lives in rhythm. When you listen to English, don't just understand words, feel the music. Tap your fingers to the beat. Notice the pauses. Notice how native speakers breathe. You can even shadow that rhythm. Speak along with them, line by line. Don't worry about perfection. Focus on flow. This kind of training rewires your brain faster than memorizing grammar ever could. Let's go deeper into connection. Fluency thrives on human connection. The reason you want to speak English isn't just to know the language, it's to communicate, to belong, to share your thoughts, your jokes, your dreams. And here's a truth few teachers tell you. If you focus too much on sounding perfect, you disconnect. But when you focus on being present, you connect. People don't remember your mistakes. They remember how you made them feel. So speak from your heart. Let your English carry warmth, curiosity, and authenticity. You don't need to speak like an actor. You just need to speak like yourself. Confidently, openly, sincerely. Do you remember the first time you tried speaking English to someone? Maybe your heart was racing. Maybe you were afraid they wouldn't understand. Maybe you felt embarrassed, but you spoke anyway. That was courage. Courage doesn't mean no fear. It means moving forward despite fear. Every single fluent English speaker you admire once felt the same. What made the difference? They didn't stop. They practiced when it was uncomfortable. They kept showing up. They made English a part of their lives. And you can too. Here's a mindset shift that changes everything. Stop trying to perform English. Start trying to experience it. Don't perform to sound good. Speak to connect, to share, to live. The moment you stop performing, your confidence grows. The pressure disappears. You start speaking from truth, not fear. That's when you begin to sound real. Let's take a breath together. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. You're doing amazing. You've already come a long way from the learner who once feared mistakes to someone who can listen, think, and feel in English. That's not small progress. That's transformation. Now, imagine yourself 6 months from now. You wake up, make your morning coffee, and without thinking, your mind starts narrating your thoughts in English. You're not forcing it anymore. It's just happening. That's fluency, the point where English stops being something you study and becomes something you live. And every sentence you're hearing right now is building that reality inside you. Let's continue with a story, because stories teach better than lessons. Once a student of mine named Aiko from Japan told me she could understand English but never dared to speak. She'd freeze. Every time she opened her mouth, her mind went blank. But then she started doing one simple thing. Every night before bed, she'd talk to herself in English for 5 minutes about her day. No grammar books, no pressure. Just her voice, and her thoughts. A month later, she told me something that changed everything. For the first time, I didn't translate in my head, I just spoke. That's what consistency does. It builds trust with your own mind. Your mind needs proof that you can do it. And every time you speak, no matter how short, you're giving it that proof. Even saying good morning out loud in English builds confidence. The more your mouth, tongue, and brain work together, the faster you progress. Practice doesn't just build skill, it builds identity. You stop saying, I'm learning English. You start saying, I'm a person who speaks English. Language learning isn't about speed. It's about direction. You can go slow, but if you're going forward, you're winning. Every small step counts. You read, you listen, you shadow, you reflect. All of it adds up. The only way to fail is to quit. So don't. Keep showing up. Even 5 minutes a day can change everything if you do it every day. And remember this, your English doesn't need to impress anyone. It just needs to express you, your thoughts, your feelings, your story. Don't compare your journey to others. Everyone's brain, background, and rhythms are different. Your job is to make English work for you. Maybe your accent is Vietnamese, Japanese, Spanish. So what? That's your story. That's your sound. The goal isn't to erase it. The goal is to make it clear, confident, and expressive. You're not just learning English to pass an exam or get a job. You're learning English to expand your world, to connect with people across cultures, to learn from voices you couldn't access before, to share your ideas with the world. That's the bigger purpose. And when you remember that purpose, motivation stops being a problem. You're becoming fluent not just in a language, but in life. Because learning to speak English is learning to trust yourself, to speak even when uncertain, to keep going even when tired, to communicate even when afraid. It's courage in action. And you, right now, are doing exactly that. So here you are, still listening, still learning, still growing. That's not coincidence. That's commitment. Every word you hear, every sentence you repeat, is another thread woven into your English identity. You've built momentum, and momentum is power. Once you have it, it carries you forward almost effortlessly. You just have to keep feeding it with small daily actions. Let's talk about what happens inside your mind right now. You've probably noticed that sometimes English sentences appear in your head automatically. Maybe you read a sign and your brain whispers the English version. Maybe you react to a situation and your first thought is in English. That's not random. That's neuro rewiring. Each time you listen with attention, each time you speak, neurons fire together. And what fires together, wires together. You're literally reshaping your brain to think in English. That's science, not magic. Now, let's transform how you use that power. Stop waiting for perfect English before you use it. Use the English you have right now. Imperfect, simple, alive. Speak at work, write short notes, talk to yourself, comment online in English, join small conversations. Every real-world use turns learning into living. Fluency is built in motion, not in theory. Here's a truth I've seen again and again. People who progress fastest aren't those who know the most grammar. They're those who use what they know boldly. They don't hide behind fear. They make mistakes loudly, laugh, correct themselves, and move on. That's how native speakers learn their first language too, through fearless trial and error. Imagine a child learning to speak. They don't study tenses before talking. They listen, copy, fail, and try again. And slowly, speech becomes instinct. You can do the same. Bring curiosity back into your English. Be playful. Try different ways to say the same idea. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. I'm out of energy. Each phrase paints a slightly different picture. Play with words. They're colors for your thoughts. Let's go further. True fluency is not memorizing thousands of words. It's mastering useful patterns. English is built on patterns. I'm used to. I'd rather. It depends on. Once these chunks live in your mouth, you don't have to think about grammar. You just flow. Try this. Repeat them daily until they roll off your tongue. I'm used to waking up early. I'd rather stay home tonight. It depends on the weather. That's real English, alive and functional. Another key to natural fluency is listening actively, not passively. Don't just play English audio while you scroll your phone. Engage with it. Notice pronunciation, rhythm, and emotion. Pause, repeat, shadow. Ask yourself, why did the speaker choose that word? Or how did their tone change the meaning? That transforms listening from background noise into brain training. Let's add a bit of mindset. You might sometimes feel stuck, like your English isn't improving anymore. That plateau is normal. It's not failure, it's consolidation. Your brain is organizing knowledge, turning short-term effort into long-term skill. Keep practicing through it, and suddenly you'll notice a leap: smoother speech, clearer thoughts, faster understanding. Growth hides behind patience. Confidence grows from evidence. The more moments you prove to yourself that you can speak, the stronger that confidence becomes. So design small victories. Record a 1-minute voice message every day, join a short online chat, or narrate a short story out loud. Each time, you collect proof. Confidence isn't gifted, it's collected, one moment at a time. Now, let's shift to pronunciation for a moment. Many learners worry about sounding native, but remember, clarity is more important than imitation. English has hundreds of accents, all beautiful. Your goal isn't to erase your accent, it's to make your speech clear and confident. Focus on stress and intonation. English loves contrast. Some syllables strong, some soft. Say computer, photography. Important. Feel the beat. That rhythm carries meaning more than perfect sounds could ever. Here's a simple but powerful daily habit: the mirror method. Stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself in English for 3 minutes. Watch your mouth move. Observe your facial expressions and feel your confidence grow. The mirror doesn't judge. It reflects progress. Let's visualize together. Picture yourself in a cafe abroad, ordering confidently. "Hi, could I get a cappuccino, please?" You smile, the barista smiles back, conversation flows naturally. Or you're giving your opinion in a meeting, not hesitating, because English feels like part of you. Those moments will come. They're already forming in your future if you keep walking this path. Fluency isn't just language, it's freedom. Freedom to connect, to travel, to dream wider. Every sentence you master opens a door. Think of English not as a subject, but as a passport, and your effort is the stamp that makes it valid. Now, a reminder about comparison. Don't measure your progress with someone else's ruler. Some people learn faster, some slower. But learning isn't a race, it's a rhythm. Stay in your rhythm. Celebrate your steps. If yesterday you needed 10 seconds to form a sentence, and today you need 5, that's victory. You've come far, and your journey continues. When you started, maybe you were uncertain. Now you're comfortable listening, understanding, expressing yourself. That's transformation. The next level, from good to natural, will come from daily connection. Speak more, think more, live more in English. Every time you finish listening to this podcast, take one action. Don't just close the app. Speak one new sentence aloud. Write one short reflection. Teach one phrase to a friend. Action cements knowledge. Take a deep breath. Feel that pride inside you? You've earned it. You are not just learning English, you are becoming a communicator of ideas, emotions, and stories. That's what language is for. Keep your curiosity alive. Keep your heart open. Keep your voice brave. You're no longer just studying English. You're living it.
There's something magical about reaching this point in your journey. You've listened, practiced, reflected, and grown. You face the frustration of forgetting words, the fear of sounding strange, the moments when you wanted to give up, and yet you're still here. That alone tells me something powerful about you. You don't quit. You're not just learning English, you're building resilience, patience, and self-belief. And those qualities will serve you far beyond language. Let's talk about something deep, identity in English. Many learners feel like a different person when they speak another language. Maybe in your native tongue, you're confident, funny, expressive. But in English, you feel quiet, limited, small. That's normal. It's not that you're less intelligent in English. It's that your emotional vocabulary hasn't caught up yet. Fluency isn't just words. It's the ability to be yourself in another language. So how do you close that gap? By giving yourself permission to exist in English. Don't wait until your English is perfect to show your personality. Show it now. Tell your stories, make jokes, express your opinions. Even if the grammar isn't perfect, your authenticity shines brighter than any rule. People connect with you, not your accuracy. Here's something I tell all my students. Fluency is when your soul can speak through another language. That's what we're building together. When your emotions, thoughts, and dreams flow through English as freely as in your native language, you've made it. Let's bring this idea to life with a simple practice. Every morning, say one affirmation out loud in English. Not just robotic sentences, but powerful truths. Say, I can express myself clearly. I'm improving every day. My English voice is growing stronger. The mind believes what it hears repeatedly. Speak to yourself kindly in English, and you'll feel your confidence rise from within. Now, let's focus on connection again, because English without connection is empty. Remember, language is not about perfection. It's about people. Speak to real humans whenever possible. Join online communities, language exchanges, or discussion groups. Comment thoughtfully on videos. Ask questions. Listen to other stories. The more you use English to connect, the faster your fluency blooms. Here's another mindset shift. Think of mistakes as your teachers, not your enemies. Every error is information. It tells you where your brain still needs more wiring. The moment you notice a mistake, celebrate it. It means you're growing. You can't correct what you never try. Mistakes are signs of courage. They show you're doing something most people are too afraid to do, using your voice. Let's talk about shadowing, one of the most effective ways to upgrade from B1 to C2 fluency. Shadowing means speaking at the same time as the audio, following the rhythm, tone, and emotion of a native speaker. It's like dancing with the language. At first, it's difficult. You'll stumble, mumble, fall behind. But with time, your mouth adapts, your ear sharpens, and your fluency accelerates. 10 minutes a day can transform how natural you sound. You can start with short dialogues. Pick a short podcast, a YouTube clip, or even this one. Play a sentence, pause, repeat out loud, then play again and speak along. Feel the sounds, the stress, the melody. You're not memorizing, you're internalizing. You're teaching your body how English feels. That's how professionals train, not by studying rules, but by imitating rhythm. Now let's talk about emotional fluency again. Many learners think fluency means being fast, but real fluency is about connection and calm. When you slow down and speak with intention, you sound more confident and clear. Try this. Next time you speak, pause between thoughts. Breathe. Give your words space. Silence is part of fluency too. Native speakers use pauses naturally. It shows control and confidence. Fluency also means flexibility,
being able to say the same thing in different ways. For example, I don't understand. You could say, I didn't catch that. Or, could you repeat that, please? Or, sorry, what do you mean exactly? Learning expressions like these gives you freedom. You're not stuck searching for one perfect sentence. You have options. Let's practice a small visualization together. Imagine yourself at an international conference. You're sitting in a discussion circle, surrounded by people from different countries. Someone asks for your opinion, and without hesitation, you begin to speak clearly, confidently, naturally. You share your thoughts, you smile, you listen, you respond. You're part of the conversation. That's fluency, not about perfection, but participation. You see, the moment you stop judging yourself, your English becomes alive. Judgment is a wall, curiosity is a bridge. When you replace I'm not good enough with that's interesting, I can learn from this, your mind opens, and an open mind learns fast. Here's something else that changes everything: environment. Surround yourself in English. Change your phone language. Follow English creators. Think in English while cooking, walking, or showering. Create a mini English world around you. Immersion doesn't require moving abroad, it starts with intention. The more English you see, hear, and use daily, the more natural it becomes. And never underestimate the power of gratitude. Be thankful for how far you've come. Gratitude keeps motivation alive. When you say, I'm grateful I can understand this podcast, your brain associates English with positive emotion. That emotional link fuels consistency. Remember, fluency is not a destination, it's a rhythm. It's not a goal you reach once, it's a lifestyle you live every day. The person who speaks English with ease isn't better than you, they're just further along the same road. Keep walking, and you'll get there too. Take a moment right now, close your eyes, breathe, and say to yourself, I am learning, I am improving, I am becoming fluent. Feel those words. They're true. You don't need perfect English to inspire others. You just need honest English. Your story, your accent, your journey, that's what makes your voice unique, and the world needs your voice. So keep speaking, keep listening, keep growing. You're not studying English anymore. You're expressing who you are through it. You've already crossed the hardest part, starting. Now it's about continuation, not perfection. Step by step, sentence by sentence, you're building a skill that will last a lifetime. You're doing something beautiful, turning effort into expression. And that's exactly what fluency is. You've come so far. Think about where you were when you began this journey. Maybe unsure, maybe nervous, maybe doubting whether you could ever sound fluent in English. And now, look at you. You've listened, spoken, shadowed, practiced. You felt frustration and pride, confusion and clarity, but most of all, growth. Every single word you've absorbed has reshaped you. Every sentence you've repeated has built new pathways in your brain. You are not the same learner who started this. You've become a communicator. You've learned that fluency isn't about memorizing words. It's about expressing life. It's not about sounding like someone else. It's about sounding like yourself, confidently, in English. You've learned that mistakes aren't failures. They're evidence of effort. You've learned that speaking a language isn't just learning grammar, it's learning courage. Maybe along the way, you've had moments where you surprised yourself, when you understood something effortlessly, or when you spoke naturally without translating. Remember that feeling. That's fluency. It's not far away, it's already within you, growing stronger each day you show up. Let's pause here for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel that pride inside your chest. You've done something remarkable. You've turned learning into living. You've built consistency. You've trained your mind to think, feel, and speak in another language. That's a kind of freedom most people only dream about. And this freedom, this voice, it's yours to use. Use it to connect. Use it to inspire. Use it to tell your story. Because the world doesn't just need more perfect English speakers. It needs more real voices, honest, passionate, human. And your voice matters. Think of the people you'll meet because you speak English, the friendships you'll form, the opportunities you'll create, the doors that will open. You might one day help someone from another country. You might travel, study, teach, or simply share your ideas online. And because you speak English, the world will understand you. That's the power of language. It's not just communication, it's connection. You are proof that progress is possible. You're proof that dedication transforms dreams into skills. You've practiced not just pronunciation, but perseverance, not just vocabulary, but vision. You've trained your mind to stay calm in uncertainty, to speak despite fear, to keep showing up when it would have been easier to stop. That's real fluency, the kind that starts inside and flows outward. Remember this truth. You will never feel ready. Nobody ever does, but readiness is built through action. Each time you speak, you become more ready. Each time you listen with focus, you grow. Each time you choose courage over comfort, you win. So from this moment forward, don't wait. Don't wait for perfect grammar. Don't wait for the right accent. Don't wait for someone to tell you you're good enough. You already are. Start conversations, write your thoughts, record your voice, share your ideas. Make English a living part of your day, not a distant goal. If you ever feel stuck again, come back to this truth. You've already done the hardest part, beginning. Everything after that is just movement. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always forward. Keep moving. And whenever doubt returns, because it will, remind yourself how far you've come. Remember the first time you understood a whole sentence without translating. Remember the first time you spoke and someone understood you. Remember the first time you laughed in English. Those moments are proof. You're already living your fluency. Now, take another breath. Let's speak this together, slowly, confidently, truthfully. I can speak English. I can think in English. I can express myself clearly. I'm growing every day. My English is part of me. Yes, feel it. That's your power. You don't have to chase perfection. You just have to keep practicing presence. Keep showing up, keep speaking. Fluency isn't about never making mistakes. It's about continuing despite them. And you, my friend, have done exactly that. As we reach the end of this journey, I want you to remember something important. You are capable of more than you think. You have already built what most people only wish for: consistency, courage, and connection. And from here, it only gets better. Your English journey doesn't end here. It continues in every conversation you have, every video you watch, every idea you share. The more you use it, the more it becomes you. So keep listening, keep speaking, keep believing. One day, soon, you'll realize something beautiful, that you no longer study English. You simply live it. You'll think in English, dream in English, and speak with confidence that feels effortless. That's where you're heading. That's where this journey leads. You started at B1. You're now walking towards C2, not just in skill, but in mindset. And that mindset will stay with you for life. Because the truth is, fluency isn't a level, it's a lifestyle. It's the way you show up, the way you express, the way you connect. It's who you are becoming. And as we close this masterclass together, I want to leave you with these words, simple but powerful. Keep speaking, keep growing, keep shining. Your English matters. Your voice matters. You matter. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, learning, and trusting me on this journey. And thank you for allowing me and English RL to be a part of your growth. No matter where you are in the world, no matter your accent, no matter your pace, remember this: you are already enough, and your best English is already inside you, waiting to be spoken. So go out there, speak bravely, live fully, and let the world hear your voice. This is not the end. It's the beginning of a new, fluent, confident you. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourself, because I believe in you. And as always, this is English RL, your daily space to grow, practice, and speak English with confidence. See you soon.